Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome to Meet People, the podcast of the Southwest Meat Association. I can't wait to have these conversations, and we're going to do everything we can to make it entertaining and valuable and a great representation of meeting the people. Meet People podcast. What's your name, sir?
David Englutt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. I've commandeered David to come talk to us about his life, his story, his involvement in the SMA. Me, personally, if I hear Southwest Meat Association, SMA, a picture of David Englutt comes up in my mind because you're just a character. You're a guy that lights up a room. Like, you just have that kind of personality about you, which makes it fun for me, and it makes you memorable. So, high five on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very kindly.
You do a little bit of singing. You're kind of comfortable with doing a little bit of entertainment.
Yeah, we've done a lot of entertainment at SMA over the years, and then that's kind of led to me even getting to be on stage and sing with a lot of really unique people and stuff. So
yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of a weird place to start, but I'm curious, what got you into singing? I mean, was your family musical?
My mom sang some, and she sang with the band, and she was just a part of the deal. She wasn't a main star or anything like that, and I always enjoyed singing, and I thought I could sing, but there'd always be that one certain person that'd say, you need to leave that alone.
Right.
Or who sings that? And you say, oh, Johnny Bush or Ray Price, and they say, well, you better let them keep doing that.
Right.
So that kind of knocked you down a little bit and not, hurt. You didn't have the confidence.
Yeah.
And then finally I got actually coming to SMA and singing with Terry Thomas and singing for SMA group at the president's room and everything after hours.
Right.
And people were like, man, you sing good. I like that. That's one of the best renditions of that song I've heard or whatever.
Right.
So then you start getting a little confidence, and then you get around a few other musicians that I grew up with and stuff. They're like, you want to sing? And I said, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous, or shy.
Yeah.
And they said, you need to learn your song and figure out what key you do it in, and then let's see what happens. And that kind of snowballed into getting to know some people with the Western Swing Music Society of the Southwest, and I got to singing on their showcases. As a matter of fact, in March, we're having the Western Swing deal at the Elks Lodge in Wichita Falls, Texas, and I have actually 2 spots on that in the showcase.
Oh, man, that's cool. Well, it is enjoyable, and some of the songs you sing are kind of it's music I enjoy. You said Johnny Bush, and some of these kind of maybe forgotten type country music or Western swing music, and I love the idea that we're keeping it alive.
We try. We do. My group, we pretty much do Ray Price and Johnny Bush and Farron Young and Bob Wills, of course, since it's Western swing. You can't do Western swing without some Bob Wills.
I got a great story about Farron Young. Well, it's about Jim Sharp, the bull rider, and Farron Young, and a bar, and Jim's is kind of it's really kind of a rapper bar. Well, Jim goes up to the DJ and says, play some Farron Young. And the DJ's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, that spirals into a fist fight over this DJ not being willing to play a little Farron Young for the Cowboys. But it's just a fun story. Like, you can kind of even picture that in your mind.
I can see Razor doing that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so the SMA, I think a good spot to kind of start. Maybe we've already jaunted down the singing path. Like, what do you do? Like, are you a salesman? Are you a service tech? Are you a friend? What do you do?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I do a little bit of all of it, especially when I work for a company called JBT Morrell. We just merged. I was with Morrell, and we were just acquired by JBT at the first of last year.
Now, see, like, I also know enough. I think you were with Townsend before that.
30 years or 28 years ago, I started with a company called Townsend Engineering.
Yeah.
And we rolled on along there for a while, and we became acquired by a company called Stork, which was a company over the Netherlands, primarily known for poultry processing, and they wanted more red meat, so they acquired Townsend, and then later on, then Morrell acquired Stork, and then now JBT has acquired Morrell. So
yeah, I mean, what do you think drove all of that acquisition? Is that just it? Poultry processing equipment.
They want to get bigger, and you can only innovate so fast.
Yeah,
you can either innovate or you can grow by
innovation.
You can go by growth.
Yeah,
you can only grow by innovation or acquisition.
There you go. What's the trick to keeping a customer?
Integrity, confidence, knowing your product line, having a good quality product line that gives you that confidence. You're not worried about falling on your face.
Yeah.
So, and consistency.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting here rolling around lots of stuff just from what you said, but I can't improve on it. You know, I mean, those are just pretty standard real life truths.
When I get in front of a customer and we get to be on the production floor and I've got a piece of meat in my hand or I've got a machine and a piece of meat in front of me, I'm in my happy place.
Yeah.
I'm in my wheelhouse. And a lot of the guys, they get tickled at it because it's like a light pops on and they're like, look at him. And I learned that from a guy from Denmark named Heinrich. And when we first got acquired by Morrell, he came in, and I believe was it Stork? I can't remember who he was with or how he came to us, but he had such passion for what he did and his knowledge of marination and injection, and I watched him a lot. And I know skinners and I know trimmers. I know the pork floor. That's where I started.
Yeah.
I came out of school from Tarleton State, and I went to work for Cargill in Beardstown, Illinois, as their first management trainee in the pork division.
Now, did you judge meat real quick?
I did judge meat.
All right. So there's like 3 people been on the podcast that didn't, Yep. I mean, I didn't, and then I've talked to like 2 or 3 people who didn't. But it just seems like typically somebody I'm talking to that's in this industry has had a passion for meat and this industry for a long time. So anyways, that was kind of sorry about that. I was like, man, I got to ask David real quick before I forget.
And
what made them think you was worth being a manager?
I was going through the interview process at Wichita, Kansas, at Cargill XL Beef then.
Yeah.
At their headquarters, and Cargill's headquarters was in Minnesota. And I don't know, I judged meat. I think meat judging had about as much to do with getting my place or my profession, I think, as much as my education did.
Yeah.
Was very involved in school at Tarleton. I was in student government. I was in a fraternity. I was in a social group called the Plowboys.
Yeah.
Which was a spirit group for the football team. I did a lot of stuff on campus.
What made you think to do all that? Because I think that's a great advice. It's a great piece of advice to my kids and other kids. Like, hey, get involved. Did somebody tell you to do it, or did you just decide?
I was very active in high school. Played football, judged livestock, showed livestock. But I never was like involved in like student government or anything like that. And I watched a lot of those guys do that. And when I got to Tarleton, I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to try to get involved in student government.
Yeah.
And then from that, I got to meeting people, and they'd say, hey, you want to be a member of this social group? Or you want to be a member of this fraternity? Or why don't you come rush this fraternity? Or, hey, you want to judge meat? I'd never judged meat. I didn't even know there was such a thing as meat judging when I got to Tarleton. And I was I got a job at the meat lab my second semester there, and I was washing down, cleaning up, and I heard this tap, tap, tap on the glass door. And I'm like, we're closed. And they're, no, we're here for the meat judging. And then one guy walks up, and he's in this social group that I'm in, and Lamb de Kai's.
Yeah.
And he said, let us in. We're judging meat and everything. They get in. They go, man, you're working out here? And I said, yeah. They said, why don't you come out for the meat judging team? I said, I know nothing about that. He said, yeah, we'll teach you. He said, you start taking Mr. Hines's meat eval class, and we'll go to work out. And he said, you're already cutting meat. He said, you know what you're handling. And like I said, I gave it some thought, and I did it, and the rest is history. And we actually went on, and our group, we won a national championship as meat judging in the United States.
Hey, cool. Congrats, man.
So,
that's stuff that's fun to kind of remember and say, oh, yeah, man, we accomplished something. And I would have never done it if I hadn't have just said yes, you know.
But then that just kind of snowballed and went on to, getting involved in all these associations. And the other part was we didn't have a lot of money, and I needed money. So, like, I got involved with intramurals, calling softball games as an umpire and stuff like that, and becoming a resident advisor in the dorms and stuff like that. So you're going to meet people doing that and make a little money.
That's right. And then, so tell me a little more about this Cargill stint, where you're kind of the first pork management trainee. And
I went to Wichita, and I was interviewing guy's name. He was vice president of cattle procurement. I believe that's right. His name was Dick Land, and I was sitting in his office, and he goes, well, what do you know about Cargill, or what makes you want to come to work for us? And I'm like, well, what I know about Cargill is I just so happen to hear that you guys are getting in the pork business. Well, where I come from in Howe, Texas, there's another town next to us called Sherman, Texas, and there was an Oscar Mayer plant, and I knew people that worked there, and they had told me, hey, they knew I was going to go to work in the meat business, and they said, hey, Cargill's just bought one of our plants. And, well, actually, I guess I should say they knew that I was going to interview with Cargill.
Yeah.
And they had heard at the plant that Cargill was buying the Beardstown, Illinois plant. Well, when I asked Dick Land about that, he told me, shut that door right there. And I turned around, and he says, that's not for public knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
He said, how did you hear about that? And I told him, I said, I always heard when you were interviewing with the company, you should do your homework and find out something about them and what they're doing, where they're going. And I said, I told him, I said, I come from Sherman, Texas, and evidently the people at Sherman, Texas, and Oscar Mayer know that you guys are buying their plant. So he goes, that's not for public knowledge. So rolled on along there, and I got the call that I got the job. Yeah. And then the guy that the HR guy that was hiring, I think his name was Stan Doyle, and he goes, he said, we had you lined up to go to Plainview into carcass sales. And he said, would you be interested in being the first management trainee in the pork division? Yeah. And go to Beardstown, Illinois. And I'm like, I kind of like to stay in Texas, and I'd like to be in the beef business. But we kicked it around, and I asked them, old sages at home, what they thought, some successful businessmen. And most of the consensus was if they didn't want you to go, they probably wouldn't be asking you. Right. And it is an opportunity. It's a real opportunity. So I bit, and I moved to Beardstown, Illinois, and kind of the rest is history. And started that plant up, and I was there about a year. And then we leased a Hormel plant in Ottumwa, Iowa. And so I went to Ottumwa and helped start that plant up for about 6 months. And then came back to Beardstown because I still had my house and stuff in Beardstown, and started the second shift up there. And then opportunity came along for me to change gears and try something else. And I was happy where I was at, but I was wanting to grow. I was wanting to go faster than they were willing to let me go, because I was young, and I was ready to conquer the world. And so I wound up going to work for a company called Smithfield Foods in Smithfield, Virginia, and it was a division of theirs called Gwaltney. And I spent 3 great years there, and I made a move to another company, and I never got comfortable. I went up to work for Jimmy Dean or Sarah Lee. Right. And I just never got comfortable in that role. And my old boss at Smithfield, when I told him I was leaving, he tried to get me to stay, but he told me when I left, he said, you'll be back. And I called him, and I said, you're right. I'm ready to come home. He said, well, you can come back, but you can't come to Beardstown. I mean, come to Smithfield or Virginia. He said, I need you in North Carolina. At that time, they were starting up Tar Heel, North Carolina pork plant, which is the largest pork plant in the world. They kill about, I think it's 32,000 pigs a day there. Yeah. And He said, "Can you be in my office Tuesday morning?" And I said, "Yes, sir." His name was Henry Morris. He's retired now. He was an Aggie. He was an engineer. He was an aerospace engineer.
Wow.
That wound up in the meat business.
Yeah.
And a great mentor to me. And anyway, I met in his office. They hired me. I went to work in Tar Heel, North Carolina, and I stayed there for a while, and then I got an opportunity to start selling equipment. And the guy wanted me to come sell equipment. I said, "I don't know anything about selling."
Right.
He said, "No," but he said, "You know this piece of equipment pretty well." And he said, "You know the industry." He said, "I think I can teach you to sell."
Right.
And I went on board with him, and he sent me to England because that's where he was from, and that's where his connections and with some other salespeople were. He trained me for a while, and then he sent me to England for 2 weeks to work with some of those sales guys. And then I stayed there for a while, and then the Viscase Corporation came knocking on the door, and had opportunity to go to work there selling vacuum bags and cellulose casings.
Yeah.
And then they had some issues there, and things kind of took a downward turn, and they had a big reduction in force.
Right.
And I got caught up in that, and a guy at Townsend Engineering named Bob Damstetter had offered me a job right after I went to work for Viscase, and I said, "I can't leave. I need to be here for a while.
Right.
I don't want to just turn around and leave after they hired me." And so after I got through my exit interview, I called him, and he said, "I don't have anything right now, but let me see what I can do." And 6 weeks later, he found a position for me, and I've been there 28 years this year.
Yeah. I just let that breathe a little bit. That's an amazing story. It's really cool, you know. I hope you understand it's amazing. Like, sometimes you miss really the cool stuff about your own life because you're just busy living it.
Yep. It's been a heck of a party, as Gus said.
Yeah, you know what? Old Gus. It's kind of current events, you know.
Yeah.
Robert Duvall passing away. It makes you think about a lot of the roles he played.
Absolutely.
Have you ever watched that? What's the Secondhand Lions?
I love that.
Oh, man.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Not as good as Lonesome Dove, but it's a great movie.
Right.
He said that Augustus was his favorite character to ever play.
I saw some interview. He's like, Augustus McGray is Shakespeare.
Yep.
You know, it's like that's one of those characters that is almost impossible to top.
Absolutely.
The SMA StartKleen Dove Hunt will be held Friday, October 2nd and Saturday, October 3rd at the Copper Ridge Ranch in Nocona, Texas. Here's the host of the event with more details.
Hello, SMA members and SMA Meet People podcast listeners. This is Rick Kimbrell, the founder of StartKleen. We're really happy to be hosting the 14th annual SMA StartKleen Dove Hunt this year at the Copper Ridge Ranch in Nocona, Texas. Just a short hour and a half drive from nearly anywhere in the Metroplex. Got a new twist this year. We've got a 35-acre pond on private property that hadn't been fished in 15, 20 years. We're going to have a fishing tournament on Friday. We're going to do dove hunt, long-range shooting, and clay pigeon shooting on Saturday, followed by a beautiful steak dinner that night. Hope you can join us.
Interested in attending and making lasting memories with your fellow SMA members? Visit our website today at southwestmeet.org to register and secure your spot.
So you've kind of obviously become a pretty good salesman, or you've managed to stay in the industry and do that role or play that role for a while.
Yeah.
Was there anything you remember from that training that you got with the first guy that mattered, or was it something else along the way?
They laid a really good foundation. They had a program.
I mean, you hear about pipelines and prospects and qualified and unqualified and all. Does any of that matter much?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a process. You got to have a flow. I don't know. The very first thing that they taught us was an acronym called PATTERN, and it was plan is the P, A is attention, then T is tell the need, translate the benefit, employ objection, rivet the deal, and note the results.
Oh, yeah.
That was 30-something years ago.
Right,
now.
and you're still rattling it off. I
Yep.
mean, it matters. It's useful. I hope, be a neat, kind of a neat clip to pull from this conversation for a social media post or something for the association. It's like, hey, you want some value? Here's some pattern. If you want to sell. At the end of the day, I make this argument. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. We're all selling something.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're the QA person that never talks to a customer, you're still selling your process to the employees, the importance of quality assurance of something. I'm trying to sell the idea that I'm a good podcast host. It's like all this stuff. We're always selling something. So pattern's a pretty good, useful tool for about anybody.
But that was the foundation, and then making relationships. Another guy that was a mentor to me when I was with Viscase, his thing was, you may not be an extrovert, but you can put the facade on and become an extrovert for a certain period of time. And being an extrovert, you're much more attacking or much more engaging and things like that. But the other thing he always said is, you got to build those relationships. The core selling is in his mind, and a lot of people's mind, is having those relationships.
Yeah.
And he said, all things being equal, you buy from your friends.
Yeah. Do you remember your first SMA?
I do. It was about 30 years ago. I was working for Viscase then. Yeah. And my colleague, Bodie Goodman, and he found out about it. And he said, we need to get involved in this Southwest Meat Association.
Yeah.
And I think the way he found out about it was he was cold calling on some customers. And it still happens, but I don't know if it happens as much today. But Bob Ondersek started it. Yeah. And he'd say, first thing, are you a member of Southwest Meat Association? Right. And I don't know if it was Bob or if it was somebody else that was dealing with Bodie. Bodie goes, no. And they handed him, they had an application form in their desk. Yeah. And they said, you fill that out and you join SMA, and then you come back to see me. Right. So Bodie said, we're getting involved in SMA. So we came to our very first convention in San Antonio at the Hyde Hill Country Resort. And then we started meeting people. Yeah. Of course, Bodie, he's personality plus. He's never met a stranger. Yeah. And we're working and feeding off of each other and meeting people and introducing each other and this, that, and the other. And I said, man, that was great. And he goes, we got to get involved. He said, I want to be involved. He said, I want to be on that board of directors. And he said, you probably do too. And I said, absolutely. I already got that on my mind. Yeah. I want to be involved. I want to be on a committee. I want to have something to do with the convention. And we rocked on there. And Charlie Booth was a big character with SMA at that time. And he was the current president, I believe. And Dwayne Padlacky and Glenn Cusack and Barney Dreiling, Mike Reagan. Yeah. With DeWeed.
See, I mean, I feel lucky because I know everybody you're talking about. Like, I can picture their face when you mention their name.
And we started picking their brains. How do we get involved? What do we do? And get on a committee. Tell them you want to get on the membership committee, you want to get on convention committee or whatever. Yeah. Be present, be seen, be known. Yeah. And we lived that. And the other deal is they want to make sure you're going to be around, because we've had a lot of associate members. It's not so much the regular members, right? But the associate members. You be here today or tomorrow, but you might not be here the day after tomorrow. They might not stick around, right? And once they see that you're going to stick around, then they'll start helping you. Yeah. And like I said, I've been involved with it for 27 years with Townsend, and I think it was 2.5 years with Viscase. Yeah. And I've served on the board of directors and been chairman of the board twice, and on the board 3 times. Associates, we kind of changed things around a little bit, but I have been on the board of directors 3 times and enjoyed every minute of being involved with SMA.
Well, I just want to say thank you, because I've benefited from that,
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
appreciate it.
I think the association would probably appreciate me saying thanks to all the guys and gals and companies that get involved, that have that attitude of, I want to be a part of this. I don't want to just take, I want to give too.
And a big part of that also that I can't go without saying is you got a big feeling for it whenever you the very first year, but after that second year, I mean, you saw that it was a family deal. I mean, like Tyler Cusack was 3 foot tall, maybe, and his sister, you know, and Ed Ruff. I mean, he was like 14 years old, and they would bring their kids. Padlacky would bring his family, and it was a family deal.
Yeah,
and then not just a family deal from their family, but SMA is a family.
Yeah.
I mean, people genuinely care about each other and look forward to seeing each other at the meetings and stuff like that, or just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what you doing, Jason Byers?"
Yeah,
you know,
they're the kind of people that don't send flowers; they show up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know any better way to put it than that.
I watched Jason's kids grow up, and now I'm watching his grandkids grow up.
Yeah, that's right. Well, David, I appreciate you coming on, talking to me, telling me your story, being this person I picture when I hear Southwest Meat Association.
I appreciate that.
Everybody, if you bump into David sometime, give him a big high five. And y'all keep listening to the Meat People podcast. If you don't mind, share it. Tell somebody about it. If you've listened this far, we've had a fun conversation. I've enjoyed it. You know, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Instagram, do something. Help us get the word out that we've got a great group of people here that's trying to grow this industry.
Absolutely.
And
very dynamic group of people.
Yeah. And it wouldn't hurt you one bit to come be a part of it. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.